there, I'm Marvin, and welcome to Buddy Up Gaming. Terra Invicta is a deep, demanding 4X strategy game built around a fascinating question. How would humanity actually respond to the discovery of a hostile, technologically superior alien force? It's an incredibly complex game, but once you understand how its systems fit together, its engaging gameplay can absolutely hook you in. With just a few hours of play, it's fairly quick to learn how to outmaneuver rival human factions. Taking on the aliens, though, is a completely different story. That challenge can feel daunting, and it only ramps up as your run progresses. This guide is all about giving you an early edge against the aliens, so you can take the fight to them, instead of feeling like you're stuck playing on the back foot the entire game. So what exactly is the Jupiter Rush? In Terra Invicta, space resources quickly become the primary bottleneck of the midgame. You need them to build fleets capable of defending Earth, as well as the space infrastructure that boosts both your research and your production back home. The Jupiter Rush strategy is designed to break through that bottleneck by giving your faction early access to Jupiter long before the aliens can fully establish themselves there. It's the single richest cluster of space resources in the entire game. By mining Jupiter's moons, you're not only accelerating your own fleet production, but you're also denying the aliens access to the best mining sites available. That single move can dramatically slow their buildup and buy you valuable time to prepare for the wars to come. Of course, reaching Jupiter before the aliens is much easier said than done. You need to be extremely intentional about building a strong research nation, prioritizing very specific global technologies, and setting up just enough early infrastructure to actually get a ship out to Jupiter. Pulling all of that together takes more than just good decision making. You'll also need a bit of luck to go your way. Because of that, the Jupiter Rush strategy isn't for everyone. Every decision matters, and you'll almost certainly need to save scum along the way to get the outcomes you're looking for. If you're willing to do a little reloading though, let's talk about how to set up a successful run. Since this strategy is all about gaining an advantage over the aliens, your faction choice really matters. The two pro-alien factions are obviously off the table, so don't pick the Protectorate or the Servants. Exodus is also a poor fit. Their endgame relies heavily on collecting exotics, and by slowing the alien buildup through a Jupiter rush, you'll actually end up fighting them less, and collecting far fewer exotics as a result. For your first run, I strongly recommend playing the Resistance. Their unique council organization is relatively easy to acquire, which makes it simpler to expand on Earth and boost your early research output. The Academy is also a great choice. In earlier patches, they started with overwhelming public opinion, making Control Nation missions trivial. That advantage has been toned down in the current patch, but they're still an excellent choice because of their unique projects that greatly boost your research output. Both factions also have access to some of the best counselor organizations in the game. If you're looking for a real challenge, Humanity First delivers. They're restricted from using several powerful organizations and suffer from the strongest alien hate modifier. If you're working for Colonel Hans Castile, you'd better be ready for a serious alien response once you finally settle Jupiter. For difficulty, I recommend normal for your first Jupiter run. This helps you avoid some of the more extreme AI behaviors. On brutal difficulty, both rival factions and the aliens receive bonus modifiers. Some of those make the game harder, but others can ironically work in your favor. On brutal, running missions against rival factions is more difficult due to a 2-point success chance penalty, and rival factions start with a higher control point cap, letting them control more nations early. While that sounds bad, it often means they contribute more to global research, which can actually speed up your path to Jupiter, so long as you never let them beat you to choosing the next research target. Alien behavior also changes on brutal. They're allowed to settle more outposts, which means more mining and larger fleets over time. How they expand, however, is less predictable. In earlier patches, they tended to move inward from the outer planets, and the extra outposts actually slowed their push toward Jupiter. In my most recent run, on the RC-13A patch, the aliens settled Jupiter first, placing their initial outpost in November of 2023. I thought that run was over, but playing as the Academy, I was able to quietly build a small force, avoid triggering any alien responses, and wipe out their early stations and outposts. With their Jupiter infrastructure destroyed, the alien buildup slowed dramatically, and I reached the late game before facing any serious threats. In short, start with the resistance on normal for your first run, move on to the Academy or Initiative on veteran, and then cap things off with humanity first on brutal. With your game setup locked in, let's talk about the key milestones you'll need to hit to rush Jupiter successfully. Reaching Jupiter before the aliens comes down to completing the right technologies, and that means taking control of global research priorities as early as possible. The fastest way to do that is by controlling the United States. With a bit of luck in your early counselor recruitment, it's possible to fully control the USA by the end of 2022. If you manage that, rival factions will only get to choose the global research target once or twice at most. And if you're lucky, even those choices will still align with technologies you need for your strategy. You have 3 major technology goals that enable your launch to Jupiter. The obvious one is mission to Jupiter, but if you've ever tried boosting a mine to Mars, you already know how impractical it would be to boost one all the way to Jupiter. That's where your second objective comes in, industrialization of space, followed by the fission platform and fission outpost projects. These allow you to construct stations and mines directly in space instead of launching them from Earth. Finally, you'll need a drive capable of actually making the trip. 2 solid early game options are the fission frag drive and the grid drive, and which one you choose will depend largely on the resources you uncover on the moon. Once mining operations begin at Jupiter, your resource income will skyrocket, allowing you to quickly assemble a defensive fleet. At this point, the aliens will start sending ships toward both Jupiter and Earth. Even on brutal difficulty, those attacks tend to arrive in a slow trickle, giving you time to build up your defenses. Missile boats, supported by a few point defense ships, are extremely effective here. Start with escort class ships, then transition into monitor class ships as your economy grows. With your defenses established, you can begin filling low Earth orbit with Tier 2 stations. Operation centers, skunk works, admin nodes, and the various science centers dramatically improve your ability to expand on Earth, increase research output, and grow your space presence. This kind of momentum this early is enormous. At this stage, rival human factions are often just getting their first mining operations set up on Mars. With Tier 2 space infrastructure online, you can push straight into the long research path toward Tier 3 infrastructure, or pivot into fleet upgrades if alien pressure starts to intensify. You'll likely notice that both research costs and space infrastructure upkeep start climbing quickly here. We'll manage that with Tier 3 modules, using research universities to supplement our research nations and nanofactory complexes to offset the cost of fleet construction and orbital expansion. Eventually, it's time to take the fight to the aliens. Your mid-game technology will be sufficient to reach Saturn, but pushing deeper into the Kuiper Belt where the alien home base resides requires upgraded drives and more advanced weapon systems. As you systematically dismantle alien stations and outposts, you'll notice their attacks on you slowing down. When their fleets begin retreating back to their remaining strongholds, you'll know you have them on the run. At that point, assemble your best fleet, assign a counselor, and move in to end the threat once and for all. The Jupiter Rush strategy is one of the most powerful and most demanding ways to approach Terra Invicta. When it works, it flips the entire pace of the game on its head, allowing you to greatly accelerate your development before the aliens can truly dominate space. When it doesn't, it still teaches you a tremendous amount about how Terra Invicta systems interact and how much early momentum really matters. In the next video in this series, we're going to zoom all the way in on the opening moves that make this strategy possible. We'll cover how to choose the right counselors, how to secure control of the United States as early as possible, and which global technologies to prioritize so your run starts strong from day one. If you found this guide helpful, consider giving the video a like and subscribe to Buddy Up Gaming for more family-friendly strategy guides, reviews, and deep dives designed to help you and your family tackle even the most complex games together. Take care out there.